All right, welcome back. Touching Tips, episode 3. Wilk and Brennan checking in with you.
Live from the Brazzers casting couch.
Wow.
That was compliments of Paul Melanson, by the way. That was a good one. He was like, "Are you about to do some dirty shit on the podcast on that couch?"
That's a lot. You're actually the one that chose to sit on that couch, so this chair was not
that was
good enough
available
for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry.
I don't know. I guess we give the guests this seat when they come in. So
Yeah.
shout out to Jameson for last week. Thanks for blessing us. We were going to have a guest today, but we had some last-minute scheduling adjustments to make, so he's stuck with just me and Brennan.
Sorry.
Brennan and I.
Yeah. Cousin was supposed to come down, but my kid's puking, so that didn't work out. So I left my puking kid and came here.
So what a day. So what, this is your last day off before you jump back into it?
Yeah. Same for you, right?
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Yeah. Here we go. Another week.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even really have. I feel like I haven't even had a day off yet. This is like really like my first day off of the week because I had Monday. Normally I get Monday night off, but they needed like I don't know what happened. We got a bunch of moving parts going on at one spot, and they basically had to have shout out to Jesse for stepping up and doing big work. He's just been bar back in there, but he worked the shift. He works a day job, so he couldn't get there until like 6 o'clock. So I left the airport. I went to Restaurant Depot. I grabbed a bunch of stuff to make my dog food, and then I dropped that off at home, threw the chicken in the oven. Renee was home from work on like a half day, so she washed over the food. I went back in. I opened the joint, and then he got there at like 6. I went home at like 6:30.
All right, so that's not too bad then.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's a long day though.
Yeah, I worked Sunday. No, I closed Thursday, and then I worked 3 to close on Friday, and then I worked open close on Saturday, and then I worked 2 to close on Sunday, and then I worked 4 a.m. to 12 noon on Monday, and then I went back for 3 to 6 on Monday.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't mention is I had to go back and close with him because he doesn't know all the protocols.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
So you were there for... Oh, so
yeah, I worked there hardcore, like open close kind of triple, if you will, off of like at best 2.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
After working, close, open, close, 2 hours of sleep into that.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. Would I have made that decision to kill myself as much if they weren't going to give my brother a shot? Probably not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is the place that I am. I don't know. I make the majority of my money here, so it's like I try to look out for them. I go way back with one of the co-owners, so I don't know. It's just tough. Like I think we brought that up on like a lost episode of like, how do you not pick up a shift?
Yeah.
And seem like a dick about it. You know what I mean? But it's tough sometimes. Like we get to a point to where we put a price tag on our time. A lot of times, experienced bartenders like us, it's like if you're not putting us in a position to make at least $350 at more, I'd like to hear $500 a night.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not worth it for me to add another day.
Yeah, to kill yourself.
Shift to my work schedule. Yeah, like, I need the recovery time at this point. My back's giving out, my feet, my knees, my ankles, everything. It's like, I don't have the recovery time that I used to, I used to be able to work like 4 doubles in a row, do drugs on every night. You know what I mean? Like, show up, puke my hangover out in the bathroom, and be good to go. But
yeah, the drugs help though. I feel like the drugs used to help because it was like maybe I was always fucking hurting after a shift, but you're on enough if you're drinking and on drugs enough, it's like I don't feel anything.
Yeah. I mean, it was I think about my times when I worked at Landry Seafood House. And I hadn't really, addiction hadn't really taken over in my life yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just more like I'd bounce around to, like, all these fun things. So maybe you would come into work hungover and you'd be like, yo, is that dude with the Loratabs working today? Like, let me get some of those. And you just, I think maybe, like, the pain pills, they probably help out.
Oh, they definitely do.
With the hangover, for sure. Or, like, something in the benzo family, Xanax or something like that. You take a little piece of that and you're like, all right, I feel all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leveled out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I work 2 fucking doubles in a row now, man. My fucking knees hurt me for the rest of the week.
Yeah. That's great. So you have like the my knees are like the least of my concerns. So it's like if you put us together with spare body parts, we'd be all right.
All right. Yeah. Nah, for me it's the knees and hips. The hips, like,
yeah, mine are good too. I'm telling we're the perfect complement, man.
I think it's just my height, my size. Like I don't know what it is, man. The hips always fucking kill me.
What kind of chicken wings do you eat?
What?
Are you partial to a drum or a flat?
Oh, I'm a flat guy.
Ah, we just blew it.
Oh shit! All right. I mean, I'll eat drums. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, yeah, that might have to be the trading price for a new set of hips and knees.
Yeah, I would gladly fucking pay that. I worked with a fucking bartender who she had double hip surgery. And at the time, I was just like, oh, that's got to suck, you know? And now I feel it every fucking time I bend over. I get the fucking hammer in the hip, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, man. I know that's my fucking future, you know? That's coming down the pipe.
Both at once?
Well, no. So they had to do the first one.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, do the other one. Yeah, so it was like twice in a year, basically. She had to take like 3 months out of work.
In a year of your life. Yeah.
And even then, like, you know, she's a fucking hustler. She's honestly the best fucking bartender I've ever worked with in the terms of like just exactly what I believe a bartender should be. Like, she was just a career bartender, just hammered that shit out. But, you know, she put her body on the line a lot. So, I mean, it was one of those things where like doctors were like, yeah, you should totally take like 12 weeks out. It's like 7.5 and she's like picking up shifts. It's like, Christ, lady, you know, like, what are you doing? But she was one of my favorites. Shout out to Deb.
I don't know. I am a firm believer though that if you don't condition your body to take it, like you're gonna be hurting.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you can't just like you know, like if you semi-retire from the industry and go down to like 3 nights a week or something like that, and then all of a sudden you pick up 2 shifts and work 5, you're gonna be dead.
You're fucking hurting.
You know, like you can only work the schedule that I work. Yeah. If you had like progressively,
that was actually probably the biggest fucking jump for me was like when, you know, you left the other spot or whatever, and I had to step up to be like a full-time person. Because I was at that point where I was only working 2 days a week, and I had the day gig, and so I was like only had one. Dude, it took me like fucking 2 months to just not feel awful when I was like leaving work on Saturday night. You know, like I was just fucking hurt so bad. Plus the spot we worked at, dude, everything is fucking knee or lower, like just not conducive at all for a tall person. I fucking hate that place, like in that regard. It's let's put some fucking glass racks above my head. Why is that so hard to do? You know.
I mean, you know, that really makes me upset, Brennan.
Why?
I wanted somebody else other than you to feel that pain. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Shout out to all you other born males in that room that didn't step up and work more hours in my absence. You crusty ass bums.
Yeah.
You crusty ass bums.
Well,
unbelievable.
Actually, it wasn't just you, because it was you, and then Heidkavich left like a month later. So it's like all of a sudden I was like, "Fuck, man!" Like, no, I'm the only one that fucking works here.
We did kind of hammer you. It's like I broke my hand, and then Ryan put his notice in, and then they thought, "Oh, I'm coming back. I'm not fucking coming back. Fuck you. Fire the fucking thieves and the rats, and I'll fucking come back." And you didn't want to do that, so I was out. And that's unfortunate that happened to you because you're my boy.
That's all right.
And I was happy to have you come aboard. We had a good thing going.
It was gonna have to happen anyway. Because I was in that, you know, everybody out there who is in the restaurant business has had this happen to them at one point in time or another, where they're like, they have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they're like, you know, they're collecting that paycheck at the day job, and that they're hoping is going to eventually be the thing that gets them out of the industry. But the more you get those paychecks, the more you're just like, I can make that in 2 days. Like, what am I doing? Working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, when I know I can make that shit on a Friday and Saturday, you know? So I was coming back anyway. I always do. There's just no other recourse for guys like us.
I mean, speaking to that point, though, like, you are blessed in that regard, that is one of the still, like, cash strongholds of the city.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I went from, you know, taking all cash home all the time to, I think every job that I've picked up since then comes with the
paycheck.
We're going to put your credit card tips on your paycheck.
Yeah.
Meet you halfway kind of thing. You know what I mean? So,
I don't know what you're insinuating, though, because I declare all my tips. That's just that's
You're
how I roll.
such a good choir boy,
I
Brennan.
am. Honestly, I just want to buy more bombs. I want to buy more missiles. I want to buy everything that the United States government wants to. So I do my part.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a hero, kind of hero. That's how I roll.
Dude, you're getting close to having to go to the Brown protest.
No, definitely not. That's gonna be fucking our day up though for probably the next 3 days.
Yeah, like you're gonna help ruin all of the traffic.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a 1,000-year-old conflict, and I'm so glad that the Brown students have finally learned that, like, you know what? All we need to do is just lock ourselves in a fucking dining room and make it so, you know, our parents have to pay our way out of it. You know, that's awesome. Heroes, every one of you guys. Great job.
I wish that the entire population of the Brown students would embrace the example set forward by that monk who set himself ablaze.
The Rage Against the Machine monk?
86'd himself from the issue.
Yeah.
None of these kids that go to Brown paying on credit cards, not embracing cash, spending their parents' money on plastic, care to calculate a 20% tip.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, Brown can get bulldozed over. You don't bring anything beneficial to my life. Every jabroni student that I've ever had the displeasure of interacting with and thought this is another dinner for schmuck candidate, the further down the line I get with the conversation, you're a fucking Brown student.
Yeah.
So take your fucking 4.0 plus and shove it up your ass until you can figure out percentages on the fly when you're writing on your fucking credit card slip, you pieces of shit.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got to say.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't get too many of the Brown kids, Brown University kids. I feel like we need to maybe say Brown University kids. Like,
shit.
Yeah. Brown University. But yeah, we don't get too many of them in my spot. We're too expensive, I guess. Actually, we get a lot of them like with their parents who probably work for JP Morgan and Chase and make their payments on their fucking Range Rover. And then that kid's gonna tell me, you know, that I'm the one ruining the country.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. So yeah, so now we're gonna probably get fucking caught in traffic left and right because those assholes are gonna be like parading in the street like a bunch of jerk offs.
I mean, here's a transition out of this hotbed topic into another one.
Yeah.
As I figured out that we were talking about brown kids, my brain took me to the point where I was directly traumatized by a brown child in my life.
Brown University?
No, just a little brown child. No, there's no bearing on the events that I'm about to tell in the story.
All right.
It was a little brown kid. And there's a time in my life where I don't remember exactly what the situation is, but we are out by Purgatory Chasm.
Yeah.
And I am going to shit my pants in the back of my uncle's car.
Okay.
So we pull over into Purgatory Chasm. I run into like the public rest area. As I'm going in there, it's like I am in total crisis Mayday mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm walking in there and
like it's coming.
I think that Jesus is on my side at this point because as I'm running in the bathroom with my ass cheeks clapped, the door magically opens. This little kid comes running out of the bathroom and he is fucking, I just remember the smile on his face. And it didn't occur to me that I should be cautious about why this kid is so happy to be leaving the bathroom.
Yeah.
I just have to shit. It's going to be in my pants soon. It's literally as I pull my pants down, I'm fucking dropping this log into the toilet. You know what I mean? So this kind of ties into hospitality because if you have to reset the restroom, you know this. You kind of go in there. There's a toilet paper roll that's at maybe like a third of its life capacity left.
Yeah.
You remove the roll. You put that on top of the dispenser. You put the new roll in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm used to this. I do this at home quite often. And my wife hates it, but we'll have like the standing rack of the reusers. I'll just take that thing out. I put the roll in my hand. I give it a little pull, take what I need, and put it on the sink. So I redo this method in this public restroom, right? The thing is sitting there. Little to my knowledge, what brought this kid such great joy is that he had lined the inside of that paper towel tube with little kid shit. So now I'm sitting here with my pants around my ankles, shitting my brains out, like trying to like not throw up because I have human shit on my, like I take this, I'm like, and I'll never forget that. I wish I could find this little kid and put him through a torturous process. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I've unlocked a world of hate for everybody to do this to other people now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's happened to me.
That's a dark world you live in.
And, you know, if I ever shake your hand with my left hand, I guess it's a true sign of disrespect because I'm putting...
You're giving him the shit hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in a public restroom?
The worst thing that's ever happened to me in a public restroom? I feel like it's a dangerous question to ask. I don't think I've ever been molested. If I have, I've buried it deep in my fucking recesses of my mind. Worst thing that's ever happened to me in a public restroom. I don't know. You know what? I don't fuck with public restrooms, honestly. Like, I plan ahead. Like, I don't think I have ever been in a situation where I'm just like, oh, actually, never mind. The old Gillette Stadium with the pee troughs or whatever, that place is a fucking dirty, disgusting, like, I'm glad that place doesn't exist anymore. Just drunk dudes pissing all over the floor and their feet and fucking other people's feet, and
I can't piss in a trough.
No, I can't piss in a...
I need a barrier between the urinals or I'm a stage fright individual.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if my wife is in the shower with, like, the curtain, like, 3/4 of the way open, I gotta shut it all the way or I can't do it.
Yeah. Especially, like, sporting events where it's, like, you're in a fucking room filled with, like, 30 dudes. And
the
like,
pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on. You better be up there pissing. And you know everybody behind you is like, what the fuck is taking this guy so fucking long? You know?
Have you ever been, like, so layered up that it's, like, a fucking...
Oh, yeah.
You're
Like, I mean, if you go
pulling, like, 6 pairs of long johns down trying to, like... get the urge to piss, like, you have to piss so bad and you can't for whatever reason. Like, there's some kind of I don't know. It's
it's just like it's the like I gotta go, and it's like your brain's just like freezing you, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I've got a few other terrible examples of public restrooms. Maybe I should start avoiding these things.
You should, yeah.
I'll start out with a diet version, I guess. How about the disdain of like sitting down on a warm toilet seat?
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Like, that's brutal. Like, one place I work at, they have the, like, these plastic liners that, like, I don't know, they, like, automatically go on there. But I, like, sat down on it, and I was like, there's no way that this thing is changing between each...
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I'm, like, just sitting on the same piece of saran wrap that, like, some of the ass cheeks were clapped on. Yeah, what's even the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
Yeah.
I got to further investigate this and see if there's like a button to push for it to be like...
It like comes off, then re-ups.
I hope so. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I got another one. My brother and I and my wife, we went on an adventure to Virginia to bartend a friend of ours, Jake, San Diego. His wedding. We go down to Virginia.
Yeah.
And, you know, my brother and I bartend this event. It's a family, you know, he's my wife's family. So we go down there, we do this. And on the way back, we stop at a rest stop in New Jersey. Of course, it had to be New Jersey. And I got to piss. So I roll in there. And there's no barriers between the urinal. You know what I mean? So you ever see the meme that's like there's a whole line of urinals and the one guy's pissing already and then another dude comes and like stands right next to him. Yeah. And he like whispers in his ear like, I'm a Lions fan. You know, like you've seen that thing? So this is what happens, right? I'm the only one in the bathroom. I'm taking a piss. This guy comes, stands right next to me. He's like probably like 50-year-old dude, right? Yeah. And I get the sense that he's like looking at my garbage, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, you know, I got my wife with me. I got my brother with me. I'm not trying to get arrested in New Jersey. You know what I mean? Or cause any problem. So it takes everything I have not to like fucking beat the shit out of this dude in this restroom. And I just, you know, I put my dick away. I go into the stall to finish my business, right? This motherfucker follows
you into the stall?
Into the next stall, yeah. And now I'm raging. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't even finish my piss. I'm like, I start like banging on the door and shit like that. And he starts like, you know, now he's like scuttling out of the bathroom. Yeah. So I like follow him out on this beeline. And he was parked like right near us. And it got to this point we're like walking and there's like this set of bushes and I'm like, oh, I could fucking get him. I could get him right now. And like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I like looked up and my car was like right there. And I just saw like my wife and my brother and I was like, So I get in the car and I'm like, this motherfucker,
Yeah.
just like laying off on him. And then that brought back the PTSD of my little friend with the toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
And the hot toilet seat's just new to my
yeah, that's
new
gross.
new in the last week, I think, of experiences. So.
Like a hot toilet seat?
Yeah, like I sat down and I was like, man, this motherfucker just left.
Got up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, man, these fucking plastic things on the toilet seats ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, why is it still so hot? If the thing had like come off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lies.
Yeah.
Lies.
See, I feel like I don't really I'm not like a public restroom guy, but then also I'm not really bothered by public restrooms. I actually went to a boarding school for 4 years. So like you're just pissing and shitting on the same fucking thing that like, 80 other guys are fucking pissing and shitting on like every day of your life. So it's kind of just like it was old hat by then.
Yeah.
Granted, though, there were rules. It was the kind of thing where, like, there'd be 2 stalls in every bathroom. So you'd have to, first day of fucking everyone moves in and be like, all right, this is the one you piss in. This is the one you shit in. And you do not mix up the two. Because it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't want to get into the shit toilet and then sit in your piss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as people abided by that, we were pretty good.
That's solid rules.
Yeah. Boarding school, though, was fun and a lot of shit and piss. Actually, it's not a public restroom story, but back in the day at boarding school, we used to fuck with each other all the time. And one way we used to do it was when you were like, we'd have like really long breaks. It'd be like the kind of thing where you just have the entire month of December off for school. Like you'd just be like, it'd be December 3rd, there'd be exams, they'd be over, and then you wouldn't come back again until like January 5th, right? So what you would do is you would try and set it up so you were one of the last people to leave the dorms, and all of us, like, well, maybe not all of us, but most of us were like, I could credit card into most every fucking room on campus, kind of thing.
Oh man, I forgot about doing that.
Yeah, so we used to be like one of the last kids to leave, and you'd find somebody. I didn't really ever do it to anyone I hated because I don't think it's the kind of thing you do to somebody you hate. It's the kind of thing you do somebody that, like you just want to fuck with. But you would take a shit inside of a can. Like a iced tea, like a, Arizona iced tea can, take a shit inside of that. And then you'd slide it behind their radiator because it'd be the old school radiators, the ones that like the fucking grills. You'd slide it behind the radiator, dude, after they left. Dude, when they came back from break, their room would smell so fucking bad, dude. They'd have to throw everything away that they left. Like, it would just be like, if you left clothes there, if you left fucking sheets there, if you left anything there, throw it away. It's gone. Like, forget it. You're never getting that smell out.
Bro.
The room would smell like shit for weeks. Yeah.
That little kid that got me with the toilet paper roll just heard this story and got so erect right now, bro. Like, oh my God, that's fucking terrible.
No, we used to be fucking awful to each other. Or doing leaners, like a big-ass garbage can, just, one of those fucking trash-filled, shitty garbage cans. Even if you take out the fucking, the bag, it's just, like, caked in crap and crud and just disgusting shit. And it would be the industrial-sized one that filled, like, like a 5,000-gallon fucking trash, You'd fill those up with water in the shower, and you'd fucking take them to somebody's room, and all the doors that would open in, you'd just, like, lean it up against the knob. So the first thing they came to do in the morning, they'd open up the door, and there would just be, like, a flood of water in their fucking room.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nobody actually ever got me with that. I've gotten a couple people with that, though.
This makes me think of this, I don't know, it's like some comedian telling this story, but he said, like, in high school, there was, like, this kid that did, like, he tried to take, like, a theatrical shit.
What?
Like, he'd be, like, holding himself, like, against, like, the dividers and just, like, trying to...
Like a Mission Impossible shit?
Yeah, he said he had, like, a new stunt, like, every day. And then one time the teacher came in and caught him. Was like, what the hell are you guys doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and they all fucking ran away.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of legends about, like, fucking dropping an upper decker, but that reminds me of, like, the the acrobatics that you need to be able to pull that off. I mean, I guess you could just fucking shit onto, like, a towel and just fucking shimmy it in there too, I guess. But I'm, like, imagining, like, the Asian dude from Ocean's 11.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're doing, like, a fucking backflip. Yeah. Boarding school was crazy though in that regard. I forgot all about that shit. But
dude, the radiator Arizona iced tea shit can is like
I'm telling you, man, it was like it was active war shit. It was the kind of shit where like when you did it to somebody, it was like I have to be ready for this person to find out that it was me and beat the fucking shit out of me.
Is that like the great grandfather or the great grandson of the upper decker?
I don't know.
They're connected. Like
yeah, definitely. I feel like it's the evolution of it. You know, like
it's like some like a family of like bad kids.
Yeah.
Like the little kids like Grandpa. I took a shit in the top of the toilet. And he's like,
let me tell you
how to really ruin somebody's entire month.
Boarding school though was just it was the only thing there was to do was fuck with each other and do drugs.
Yeah,
that
had to be like a precursor to going to all my pranks and stuff like that. Didn't come until I was like a freshman in college.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you guys were doing this at an elevated level.
Exactly, we were the ones that brought all that shit to college, and then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, let's fucking do that." It's like, yeah, no, we cultivated that shit. So the only thing to do was, you'd go to fucking CVS because back then, like, you could still like buy shit over the counter that would get you fucked up. So like that's how you'd roll. You just do like over the counter medication and fuck with each other. You drink Robitussin and drop fucking Shitcan Shoguns.
Dude, that just made me think of my boy, like, of pranks and everything like that.
Yeah.
So this shout out to my girl Katie. We've been like friends since high school. We've always checked in with each other. One of the few friends from Tampa that I still maintain. And I guess I don't know why she was the victim of so many terrible pranks, but it just made me think of this one time where she went away, and there was this famous like adult store in Tampa called the Todd.
Yeah.
So we went there and we bought like a bunch of like porno magazines. Like this is like, when porno magazines are still a thing.
Yeah.
And they're like the bad ones. Like, well, I'm not talking about Playboy. I'm talking about like they're doing some stuff.
Right.
These things, right. And like every page of this, like if it's not a pictorial set, it's like buy all these VHSs for like $50 for $50 or something. So every page is like full of smut. You know what I mean? It's not like Playboy where there's like 12
articles
pictures of naked
shit.
women and a bunch of print. Like every single page is full of trash. So this girl, her family is Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So we're at her.
I like where this is going already.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. It's bad.
Yeah.
So she goes away. I don't know why she's away, but my other high school friend, he's her roommate at the time. So this is how we get into her house, right? So we go in there with all these smut magazines and we rip all the pages out and we put them everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we put them like, you open up her cupboards, there's a picture of smut. We put them in between like every plate and dish. We put them in the coffee mugs. We put them in between pages of other magazines that were in the magazine rack in the bathroom. You know what I mean? We hid them under her mattress. We put them inside of her pillows. We put them inside her pillowcases. We put them like everywhere, bro. Like she had to have been finding this for like months afterwards, right? And she said like her parents came for a visit, and of course, like I think it was like the magazine rack that they never
they
got.
just flipped it open.
Yeah, flip it open. It was just smut and all these things. So she's got to like explain herself to like her uppity parents. You know what I mean? Like why this happened.
There's just porno pictures in every fucking orifice.
So like they probably think like her daughter has some kind of problem. She's like hiding smut pictures from.
She ends up getting like fucking abducted and like fucking outward bounded. Like just like we're gonna bring you to Minnesota and you're gonna be with other Christians and shit.
Yeah. Shout out to Katie.
Sorry he ruined your life, apparently.
Yeah. Also,
sorry your parents never looked at you the same again.
Also, another terrible thing, she was involved in the crew of like when we were blessed with like getting ecstasy for the first time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she just was done. I was never done. I was like, let me eat some more of those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But so whatever, she's done. Maybe she had to work, whatever. So I had agreed. This is like she used to date one of my best friends. So this is like my sister. You know what I mean? I'm looking out for this girl no matter what. And so at some point in the night, I said, yo, just go sleep in my room. Like, I'm not going to bed. I forget that this happens. You know what I mean? So she's respectful enough to, like, she made herself, like, a little, like, I don't know, like, sleeping bag, like, on the floor, almost, like, by the closet. You know what I mean? Like, there were pretty big bedrooms in this place. It was a 2-story townhome, and the bedrooms were exactly, like, half the space of the thing. You know what I mean? So she was like all the way on the other side of the room. I finally go to sleep at whatever time, and I'm confused as to like why all my bedding is in the corner. So I'm like fucking pulling this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is it stuck? I'm all fucked up. And she's like, right, let's So yeah, I'm like, I go from being like the best friend, like, you know, you're like on ecstasy, like, oh, I love you so much, you're sleeping, man. And now I'm like trying to go to bed. I'm like fucking yanking this shit out from underneath there, like.
Well, that's because you were coming down anyway. You were all cracked out.
Nah, but it wasn't. I just genuinely forgot that she was there. And I think even at this point, I had a futon at that point in my room. So I thought maybe like the bedding was stuck under one of the legs of the futon. I'm just yanking that shit.
Yeah.
She was there the whole time. I was like, damn.
Oops.
Damn. Shout out to Ecstasy.
Ecstasy was cool. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I did my senior project in high school about the dangers of doing ecstasy. And then as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, I'm eating this shit all the time. Yeah. I don't care about burning any of my serotonin receptors.
I feel like, well, nowadays, like, it's so easy to get, like, fucking pure ecstasy, like, fucking, you know, but back in my day, it was like, you just get them, like, you just have to determine how, like, fucking dirty they were by looking at them. So you just be like, and, you know, I'm a scumbag, so when I would look at them, I would be like, I was looking for brown spots. I was like, yeah, give me the ones with the heroin in it.
Yeah,
you know?
Give me the ones with the cat litter and the Drano. Like, I'm not just trying to feel good. I'm trying to have visual effects from half dying.
Yeah, I like the dopey ones. I was always a downer guy.
I remember this one batch that we got. I feel like it made kind of like your like with the music was going, your vision kind of did like a thing like this. We used to call it hammer vision, and we're like, oh, fucking hammer vision, it's so cool. And you're like, no, bro, like your brain is dying.
Yeah.
Your brain is probably lacking oxygen at this point.
Yeah, that's pin-sized holes being popped in every fucking part of your brain. Yeah.
Every one of those hammers that went off in your vision was a future thought of putting a gun in your mouth after you're 30 years old.
Yikes.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know, Sarah. The ecstasy craze, though, I feel like that was the end of my drug days, because I don't know. I feel like after I did enough ecstasy, I started getting like anxiety and shit, like because my fucking brain couldn't like release like the chemicals that I needed it to at the right time. So I started just getting like serotonin floods, where all of a sudden like I would feel like, you know, I was having a heart attack, but what I was actually having was a fucking panic attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of towards the end. I was actually, and I feel like I was lucky to have that be the end, because that was right before then the wave of OxyContin.
Yeah.
So and then I had a few friends who, you know, went down that path. They ended up dying, but it was, you know, that was, I feel like, what was that, like 02, 03, somewhere around there? That was like when Oxy started getting big in my area.
I feel like maybe like 02, 03, I'm just like smoking dope, maybe having some mushroom experiences.
Yeah.
And then the next year I probably get introduced into like ecstasy. Right before the ecstasy, I'm probably fucking with like benzos and like light duty like opiates, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff that's still more probably aspirin than opiate.
Yeah.
And then I get turned. I had this guy, we called him Neighbor Dude. He lived right next to me, and I don't know what he was up to. He was like a military guy, but I think he had like European connections and shit.
Yeah.
So he used to get like fucking cool drugs. Like he would get the ecstasy, he got hash, he got like buds on the regular, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really like living next to this dude was like I don't know, like a turning point in my life. Like I already had the party house going on.
Yeah.
And then this guy shows up and he's got to connect to all these like designer drugs. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, let's roll. And, you know, eventually, like, I moved. I lose the connection with Neighbor Dude.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, some of the friends that I had gotten into, they had introduced me into Roxy's, which were really perk 30s.
Yeah.
And that, you know, what you're saying, my life took a turn for the worse at that. Because now I went from jumping around to doing different drugs all the time, just having fun, to like now really bordering on that, like, yo, like, and I didn't understand addiction. You know what I mean? I would just feel like shit. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why.
I just want to get more of these. What's wrong with that?
No, but I don't even think I knew what the solution to it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you'd do them 3 or 4 days in a row, and then you'd have, like, you just feel like shit.
Yeah, you feel cracked out.
But I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know? And
so my, like, peak drug-taking period of time in my life was actually pretty early. Mine was, like...
It's because you went to boarding school, bro.
Yeah, it was.
It's like the exact opposite of what your family's trying to...
Yeah. Well, so that was part of the problem, too, is I have a niece now who's going actually to boarding school next year, and I think something that I had to kind of like tell the rest of them is like, these kids are crazy. Like they're just like, they're not. First of all, they have access to unlimited wealth. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have money. I was like a financial aid kid. So like I didn't go to boarding school because I had a lot of money. Went to boarding school because my brother went there too, and I had enough money given to me where it like made sense. But the kids I went to school with, like I went to school with like the Hiltons. I went to school with like the fucking people who own like Sunkist. I went to school with one of my roommates was the grandson of the guy who started Bacardi. Like it was like those are the people I went to school with. These people have unlimited funds, and those kids are fucking crazy. Yeah. So it was one of those things where like, yeah, you just had a ton of fucking drugs everywhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I forgot where I was going with this. What the fuck was I saying?
Doing all your drugs early in your life.
So I'm doing all these drugs in like 9th, 10th, 11th, senior year. By the time I was basically out of high school, I think I'd basically done my fair share of drugs where I was like pretty much done. But that was when like Oxycontin hit. But anyway, in high school though, if you remember, that was like 98, 99, 2000, right? It's the dawn of the internet. And back then, like you could get fucking technically legal drugs on the internet from chemical companies. So we had these kids in our fucking dormitory next to us who were running this shit where we were drinking Robitussin. I love drinking Robitussin. I fucking robo-tripping was so much fun. So that was the kind of thing where, you know, you just get yourself a nice little 12-ounce can of that DM, dextromethorphan, go. Hey, fucking ready to robo-trip. These kids fucking figured out that you can get your hands on the pure dextromethorphan, and they would send it to you. Just no fucking questions asked. Just like, yeah, you want fucking, fucking 18 ounces of dextromethorphan? Here you go, bud, and you would pill it up yourself. And these kids aren't fucking chemists, so they're fucking 16-year-old kids. So they're just like, emptying out fucking Tylenol PMs and just refilling it with this fucking powder and selling it off. So at that point, like I'm taking these. Basically the closest I've ever come to dying, I feel like was this, because I took fucking 2 of them, and they were just like, yeah, take 2, you'll be fine, And these kids at this time were they were living on these things. They were popping them like every fucking day, like for 3 months. They
had like a tolerance built up. Yeah.
So, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll take fucking 2 of these. How fucking bad could it be, dude? I've tripped on fucking acid. I've tripped on mushrooms. I've done a fucking bunch of drugs, man. And this is the fucking most fucked up I've ever been, dude. I got so itchy, man. I scratched all the way from like my nipples all the way to my chin, just scratched my skin raw. Like my blood was like fucking boiling.
Waiting.
It was just like I had like fucking maggots underneath my skin. Dude, and I went blind. Like literally, I'm in my fucking dorm room, dude, and I can't see anything. And people are like coming up and be like, "Are you okay, dude?" I'm like, I can't fucking see anything. Like I went blind. And I was freaking out, dude. I was fucking tripping balls. Like I just felt like my entire mattress was on the floor. I felt like it like lift up and just like started vibrating, and I was just like sitting there like that, But dude, I was fucked up. And I went to sleep that night just being like, you're dead. You're not waking up. You're never fucking waking up. I woke up the next morning fucking Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge style, like, I'm never taking drugs again. And then I took drugs again. But at the same time, I was just like, holy shit. That was the closest I've ever come though. But yeah, I don't know how I started on that story, but my fucking high school days, I feel like, were where I got the bulk of my drugs done. And then once I started dealing with fucking anxiety and panic attacks and shit like that, which I think were the result of my still forming brain being like introduced to drugs so early, that I was lucky to get out when I did, because a lot of the kids that I was doing all these drugs with and shit, they ended up going the Oxycontin route. And like I said, they got addicted. Most of them, a lot of them got fucking then hooked on heroin, and it was like a fucking epidemic, though. Like that 01 to 07 period of time, like that was a fucking, my town only had like probably 4,000 people in it, and like I knew like fucking 15 kids that died of heroin overdoses. Like it was kind of fucking crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I only know one. Like I definitely got involved in like the opiate pandemic. But I only know one person, I think, that actually made the transition into heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I knew a few, yeah.
Other people either, like, got it figured out or they stayed, like, lifelong. Like, one kid that I'm thinking of, like, I bet you he still takes him to this day. You know what I mean? But he just, for whatever reason, he never put himself in the financial crisis to have to hit the heroin. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I got lucky where my family put their foot down and like called me out for it, and I went to rehab before I got to that point. But I was definitely
heading down that path.
Yeah, I was definitely at the point to where like my finances were running dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think to tell the closest story I ever came from dying, I think I like snorted like 3 perk 30s in like one night or something like that. And I was living on this dude's couch for a little bit. My lease had ended. I was moving into this other spot, and this is actually the dude that I think probably might still take him, but he always had a steady supply of them. And I remember like going into his room late night being like, yo, man, let me get a couple more of those. And he's like, yo, like, don't take too many of those. Are you sure? Like, he tried to warn me. Again, I'm just a young, dumb, ignorant motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm having
more is always better.
I'm having a good time. I'm fucking snorting these pills, I think, like half of the time. So I'm doing like 15 milligrams at a time or some shit. And I end up like fucking getting like violently ill, like throwing up. You know what I mean? I was obviously overdosing from fucking taking these drugs. And I think I had to work the next day. I had to be up early or something like that. And I don't think I cleaned my puke up as good as I could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was 2 brothers that lived together. And one of them reached out to me like, yo, man, like, I'm not mad at you, but next time you get sick, like, you got to clean the bathroom up better than that. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? And like, I always took that as kind of like, damn, like, you got to get out of this house. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, like, my house was crazy. Like, I left my bong right on the middle of the table and shit. Like, they didn't live like that. Like, they cleaned up there. They looked like civilized individuals if you came over out of nowhere.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, I just kind of like, look back at that and be like, damn, bro, like, you were with people that you thought cared about you. You thought these were some of your best friends at the time.
Yeah.
You almost overdosed and died on drugs. And the biggest problem was that you didn't clean your puke up enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, nobody fucking cares about you. You know, like, if you go down that path of drugs, like, you're just, it's crazy, like, the lack of, like, respect that, like, life takes on, you know?
So I knew 2 kids I knew them back from like middle school because I didn't go to the same high school as them, but like I knew of them. One of them I didn't like, and the other one I did. The other one, like, he was a good kid. Like, it was like an ancillary kid that I'd run into at parties and be like, oh yeah, that kid. Well, he ended up dying of a heroin overdose at that other kid's house, and the other kid ended up just like, rather than, you know, because he obviously sees the kid's ODing, rather than doing anything about it, he literally just picked the kid up, dragged him outside of the house, and like left him on the side of the street. Like, just to die. Like,
who was that? The kid that you liked died?
The kid I liked died, and then the kid I didn't like was the kid who did that, and that kid ended up, like, serving, like, he went to jail. Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, your ability to identify good character was spot on.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I will say that, too, actually. I'm actually, I bat 1,000 in that regard, where I'm just like, any person I've ever been like, yeah, that guy's fucking shady. It's like, that's always proven true.
They turn out to be,
yeah. Exactly.
I think I'm the opposite. I fall in love with snakes.
Yeah. I mean, no. Well, so I'm always friends with like pieces of shit, but I always like know if there's like some sort of dark quality to you where it's just like, I think you're just kind of a piece of shit and you're a real piece of shit. You know, like, I'm kind of a piece of shit, or I was kind of a piece of shit. I did dirty things, but at the end of the day, like, I have like a good heart. You know, like, I feel like that's the difference. You know.
Yep.
It's how many of these people are in it? Like, how many people are like that because of the drugs, and how many people are like that and take drugs? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it kind of goes back to that fundamental thing that we've talked about that makes kind of like a quality restaurant person is like the irk that like you weren't good at your job and like the will to want to get better about things the next day. Like, you don't like. The fact that your ears could be on fire in any type of way is, like, unacceptable to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that...
See that, guys? We're bringing it back to hospitality.
I mean, yo...
We went a circuitous route, but we're here, man.
If you work in hospitality, you are 99% likely to have a relationship with drugs in some way.
It's 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not you, like, you're going to have a friend, you're going to have a lover... You're going to have a manager, like some type of way, like drugs are going to be introduced into your life as either conflict, resolution, like any of the above. Like, I don't know. I remember my pops was the son of a restaurateur. You know what I mean? So he's kind of been working his whole life. You know,
okay. Your grandfather was a restaurateur?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
He owned...
I didn't know that.
What the hell was the name of it again? It was named after like a firehouse. I can't believe that I'm forgetting. It was on Central Ave in Pawtucket. They bulldozed it over.
Yep.
It was like
your shitty grandson. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's your cross to bear.
Yeah. So anyway, my pops was like, he was pretty much like washing dishes before going into elementary school.
Yeah.
Like that's the life that my dad lived.
So just child labor. Cool.
Yeah, but just being an observant young man in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that his grandfather might have owned a diner as well. So I think he might have been working for his grandfather, and then his dad got a restaurant and started.
So you guys are like multi-generational at this point.
Yeah, I'm the loser that never got my own place. So my pops, I think he sees me kind of going down this road of, I'm dropping out of school, I'm falling into the restaurant thing. He tries to tell me, this is like before he realizes I'm a fuck up. He's like, look, like I've been down this. He's like, you're never going to be immersed in such a bed of like snakes, of drug addicts, of adulterers. You know what I mean? Like the thing that he laid out, I was like, I think the world's a different place than when you were a kid, Pops. You know what I mean? And I hate that I got to give this guy Carlo credit because he told me this when I was like maybe 16, 17, 18 years old, and he'd always be yapping. But he said, the older you get, the more smarter and knowledgeable the words that your father has spoken become.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like now that I'm at this stage in my life, it's like I'm older than my dad at any point in these memories of him telling me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, damn, man, like he is right. You know what I mean? Like finding somebody that does have a good heart, that cares about getting better every day, that doesn't want to have their ears on fire. You know what I mean? Like finding those qualities in people in this industry, it's few and far between.
Yeah.
I think it's also why I think, you go through a lot of like drama, stress, all that stuff together, and you meet some of like the most quality individual, or like you make some of the strongest bonds.
Yeah, because you're forged in the fire, man.
Yeah, going through this stuff, like
at the end of the day, we're all kind of like wayward souls who kind of like nobody. Oh, I shouldn't say nobody, but very few people like, set out to be in the restaurant business from day one. Like, I'm going to be here all throughout my life, no matter what. But you kind of you end up at a spot where you're just like, all right, well, I guess we're all in this together, fucking. And there is something that I feel like a lot of my bonds in high school and shit were like that too. Because it was like, you're stuck with these people all day long, all night long. And you're just like, I guess we're all here, man. We might as well fucking make the best of it,
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are a bunch of pieces of shit like everywhere where they're kind of just like, they're you got to be on the lookout for them, especially in the restaurant business. Like you said, 99%, fuck that, dude. It's 100%. Like everybody has a drug story at a restaurant. Everybody, and it's probably a sad one.
And it's like, do you end up like that person that I'm talking about that I feel like we kind of embody after all these years? Yeah. I wasn't always that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think I like myself even up to like 5 years ago.
No.
Like, if you put me in a time machine and made me go hang out with that guy, I'd be like, I fucking
hate this kid.
Hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so we're sober now. So
yeah.
At this point, though, like,
I mean, you're sober. I'm not sober.
Yeah,
You're true. You even drink coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee.
You are truly fucking.
I'm in it. Yeah.
I really thought that like your nickname for the show after last week should be like Brennan the Burger King.
Yeah.
But I feel like it should be Raw Dog.
Raw Dog?
Because you are raw dog in life, bro. You don't no caffeine,
nothing,
no weed, no alcohol, no hard drugs.
Yeah. Well, for me though, like I always tell people I never had a drinking problem. I just had like a problem drinking. It was one of those things where like I just, like you said, like I just wasn't the guy I wanted to be. Like I felt like it got to the point where when I was younger and I was drinking and doing like all that shit, I was very much like I used it to cover up my own social anxiety to then bring out the person that I thought I wanted to be. You know what I mean?
I do.
So it was one of those things where I was just like, I would use it so that way I could be funnier, so that way I could be more like outgoing, so that way I could talk to people that I wouldn't normally talk to. But what was happening, towards the end was just like, well, now I can talk to everyone, and now I just feel like if I'm drinking, all I am is just an asshole to people. Like I'm just a drunk, miserable dickhead, and it was just like, it just came to a head where I was just like, I don't want like my kids to remember me this way, So that's where I ended up with it. But like to say like I don't miss drinking, like I never. Well, so another thing too is like when it came to drinking, I never had anything in me to tell me to stop. So it was one of those things where I never got pleasure out of drinking 3 beers. Like, to me, that's, what the fuck am I even doing this for? I wanted to drink 16 and then have shots and then, like, fucking throw up on myself and then, like, start weirdly crying and then, like, yell at somebody. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to just, like, pollute myself, you know? So that was another problem where, like, I never liked having a scotch on the rocks. I liked having 13 scotches on the rocks, you know? So, I mean, to me, it was kind of an easy call, but...
Yeah, it's either, like, on or off.
Yeah, I had no governor.
Like,
yeah, so it was just one of those things where I just, you know, when I wanted to get fucked up, I would get fucked up, you know? Which isn't good. Just so everyone knows out there. You know?
Like, I don't know what I think it's like my experience is different. Like, when I was in high school, I was like the sober kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I said that all the time. I didn't need drugs and alcohol to have fun, blah, blah, blah. I was actually, like, scheduled to, like, talk about my experience of being, like, the sober kid. And in the time that I said, yeah, I'll do that, like, my best friend at the time was, like, going into the military.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, man, just have some drinks with me. You know what I mean? Before I go, what if I don't come back? I don't think he laid it on me like that. Maybe that's just what
it was like subtext.
Maybe I thought that. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'll have some drinks with my boy. And that's, like, really why I started drinking. And I was always a pussy. I never liked the taste of alcohol. Like, I remember I think we drank, like, whiskey one time. I threw up, like, every time we took a shot. You know what I mean? I would, like, be like, ugh, like, throw up in my mouth. And so I started drinking, like, fucking, like, Zimas with Jolly Ranchers in them and shit. Like, then smearing off ice tape. So I would drink all those.
People?
So I no, I didn't even know about icing until I moved back to New England.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think my whole freshman year, I would drink, like, Smirnoff Ice. And we came up with this thing called the Terminator, where you dumped, like, a 32 ounce of Smirnoff Ice into a funnel, and then you threw, like, 151 on top of it. You know what I mean? So we were just drinking to, like, black out. You know, like, our parties lasted, like, maybe 2.5 hours.
That was it. Was just a race to the finish.
Just get as fucked up as you can and then fucking pass out. Like, so many times, like, my freshman year, like, we had, like, a room that was separated by, like, a big, like, desk dresser kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then you shared a bathroom with another 2 bros that were, like, on the other side of the wall. So it was like a quad. And I remember just being like, you don't got to turn the party off. I'm just going to bed. And people would be like, you're going to go to sleep. Like, I am ready to go to bed. You know what I mean? You just fucking pass out. And luckily, nobody fucked with you. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody passed out of my house, I would draw dicks all over their face.
I was going to say, we fucked with people all the time.
Shit, but my freshman year, at least, nobody was fucking doing that.
Yeah. No, I got fucking drawn on big time of freshman year. Dude, I drank an entire fucking liter of what the fuck was it? It was a peppermint schnapps, but I can't remember the fucking, it was like a clear bottle, blue label, whatever. But I drank a whole fucking liter of it to my dome. The kind of thing where it's just like, dude, I threw up because of the fucking peppermint schnapps, not even like the alcohol content. But I got blackout drunk, and I was throwing up black. Like, I 100% had, like, alcohol poisoning. But, like, and then I woke up the next morning. First of all, I blacked out, like, at, like, 7:30 p.m. So it's one of those things where, like, there was, like, a 5-hour period of time that I just had no account for whatsoever. Then apparently I was just up and about and bebopping around. But, so I woke up, dude, and I had fucking like, you know, I had fucking marker all down my arms, my back, my fucking neck, my face. It was brutal. Then I had to, like, I mean, I wasn't going to any classes anyway in college, so I guess it didn't really matter much. I just had to lay low for a couple days.
It's like making me mad that I can't come up with that bottle that you're talking about. It's the first thing I had to Google so far in the episode. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's like Rumpelmintz's cousin.
Yes.
Like, is it Das Comet? Is that what it's called?
Maybe that's what it was.
I think that's what it is.
It's a clear bottle of blue label, but I drank a whole fucking liter of it to my dome.
I think Comet is, like, spelled with a K.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's gross, though. I feel like
so gross. Yeah.
Like, that schnapp-driven alcohol. I remember one time we ran, like, the worst hangover I ever had was, like, a 48-hour experience.
Yeah.
And we ran out of booze, so we started playing beer pong at the end of the night with a bottle of Southern Comfort. And I still, to this day, when somebody orders that and I pour it,
you get that.
I get, like, sick to my stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a Yukon Jack memory where, I fucking, we were going on, like, a camping thing or whatever, because we lived in the middle of the woods. It was that. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So we lived in the middle of the woods. So we were always like, you know, basically when you were 16 years old, like, you know, you would just be like, well, fuck it. Let's just, you know, we have nothing to do. Let's get drunk in the fucking woods.
Yeah, that's how I started drinking woods parties.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it was one of those things where, like, it was like 4 of us who were like, yeah, we got a tent. We'll just fucking bring out, like, this fucking bottle of Yukon Jack. We got, like, 2 30 packs. We'll just get shit-faced, right? And so we go out there, and I'm literally just pounding the bottle of Yukon Jack to my dome at that point. And I'm just I got so obliterated that I ruined the camping trip for everyone else who was just like, yo, fuck this, we're leaving. And I literally passed out inside of a, because we didn't even get the goddamn tent assembled yet. So it's like a plastic, like, you know, just fucking mass on the ground that I just crawled underneath and just used it as cover. And yeah, I just got like absolutely blackout drunk in the fucking woods with one other kid. And then even then our ride then left. So we had to like walk out of the woods and then like walk all the way across town back to like my house in the morning. It was awful.
Dude, we had where I went to high school in Port Charlotte, Florida. And there was like this failed like subdivision on this side of town, you know what I mean? So it was all overgrown woods, but there were roads paved. Like they paved the roads, and then that thing went belly up. You know what I mean? So like, there were so many situations where it's like, okay, like you enter into this road, and it would be like you make like 4 consecutive, or 2 lefts, a right. And, that's how you would navigate to there. There's no street signs or anything. Right. It's just like, you make a left here, then you make your second right.
That's fucking awesome. So it was almost like your own, like, fucking apocalypse, like, dystopian community.
There'd be times where, like, you'd only take one car out there with, like, 3 or 4 guys. And then the guy who got the ride, he'd get the call to get lucky or whatever it is. And they'd leave you out there. And you're like, yo,
I don't know how the fuck we are.
I don't know how to get back. You know what I mean? I didn't fucking drive here. Like, we're fucking stuck here until homeboy's fucking done. You know? Like, damn. So yeah, I remember one time like we heard like a terrible car accident.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And we were there with no car.
Yeah,
and it had to be like a rollover. Like it had to be like a drunken rollover. Somebody doing some dumb shit, just like we were out there.
Yeah,
and it was like, what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna leave the camp and hope that we can navigate back to the camp like in the dark to try to go save these people?
Which you're never gonna do.
You heard like screeching. You heard like people screaming and shit. Like
holy shit.
Yeah, like I was like, dude, somebody's fucking fucked up out there. But
what'd you end up doing?
I fucking stayed put. I was like fucking 16 years old, fucking drunk as fuck. Like,
I would have done the same thing.
I'm not getting in trouble,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's fucking wild times at Port Charlotte wood parties, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this reminds me of a fucking Florida story I have. So I had a buddy in high school who lived in the Orlando area, right? And when you think of Orlando, you just think of Disney World. That's just how it is. And then a buddy of mine, like one of my good friends from high school, this kid, he's a Hilton. His first name was Hilton, so he was, but his last name was different because it's like whatever. His mom's brother is like the father of Paris Hilton and shit. Yeah. But so he takes us. He offers to. He takes me on vacation to Disney World, like fully paid everything. We stayed in like the fucking Hilton Hotel presidential suite. It was fucking dope. But so we're down there, and we have a buddy down there already in Orlando. So we're like, oh, we'll meet up with fucking Bobby, and when we're down there, we'll buy drugs, we'll do fun shit, we'll catch up with him, we'll see what Orlando's all about, right? So we meet up with this kid, and right off the bat, like I don't like any of his friends. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm just like, these people are fucking weird down here, they're a different breed, whatever. They weren't my cup of tea.
Central Florida
people, yeah. So, but anyway, But whatever. Let's just go buy some pot. This will be fine. Like we'll get drunk. How bad could it be? So he starts taking us to a fucking spot though, and it's like in Florida everything's like straight and flat, and you're driving the highway, take a left, driving the highway, take a left on like a kind of a dirt road, driving, take another left. Now all of a sudden, dude, there's like fucking branches and shit hitting the windshield. It's like, where the fuck are we going? Like, we're just like wandering into the middle of the fucking swamps.
Yeah.
Dude, you come out into a clearing, man, and it's like a fucking white trash commune, right? It's like these fucking like hillbillies, like dudes with like chickens under their arms hanging out by like fucking dumpster fires. Like everybody's on crystal meth. Nobody has any teeth. And this is like fucking pre-cell phone. So it's like, nobody's gonna fucking know we're out here, man. Yeah. Nobody, And we go into this guy's house to buy drugs, like, fucking just we're just there for pot, But it's like, the fucking house is like a tin shanty, basically, with like fucking dirt floors and shit. It is like a legit, like hillbilly, fucking off the reservation, like nobody off the grid fucking place, dude. And the guy's like fucking, what do you want? You want crystal meth? You want those? It's like, dude, we just want fucking pot, man. Like, and the whole time I'm thinking, these guys are gonna fucking kill us. Like, there's no reason for them to let these fucking, uppity rich
just
white kids like get out of there.
Shoes,
exactly, But they didn't, luckily. But it was one of those things where, like, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I've bought drugs in sketchy areas, man. That was the most scared I've ever been. Like, that was the first time where I was like the shit that you were seeing around there was just wild. It was just like, fucking people like staring at you through like the bushes, and you're like, yo, is that a fucking guy over there? What is he doing in there?
You're like setting the scene for like a darker Snatch.
Dude, it was like fucking what's the goddamn Burt Reynolds movie where they all get butt fucked? You remember that one? What the fuck is that movie? It's a movie that like ding 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 Deliverance, where they get like fucking hunted by the hillbillies and shit.
I've never seen that movie.
You never seen that movie?
I think we just tagline the episode butt fucking Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, but that's what it was like, dude. For a moment, I was just like, we got to get the fuck out of here immediately, man.
All I could think is fucking Burt Reynolds getting butt fucked and turning around being like, it's a big hat. It's funny.
Must be Burt Reynolds or something.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I think maybe I've never put myself in some type of like a crack house situation to buy drugs.
Really?
Nah.
Oh man.
I think the sketchiest situation ever is like I bought some blow from like this like scary ass black dude that worked with my boy Nick.
Yeah.
And he was just like, meet me in this apartment complex, and like I had to get into like it was a total like black dude drug dealer like Impala.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this dude like he's got a gun on him. You know what I mean? He's like if you don't know me, you know what I mean? Like laying all this hard shit down.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even think that this experience is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking scared right now.
Yeah.
And I remember, and my boy Nick, I think luckily for him, he's had a heart condition since high school. So he's always had to say no to like these situations. I go, yo, man, I went and fucking met up with that fucking dude. He's like, he's crazy. I go, yeah. What the fuck, dude? Like, holy shit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been in like been to any like crack houses or all I can picture, you're like leaving with that weed from that sketchy situation, and the guy's like, "Do you like Doug's?"
Yeah, exactly.
You get a little homesick.
That's what it was. It was like a fucking. Right. It was a Florida hillbilly piker camp. Yeah, like that's what it was. It was fucking nuts, dude. And like I said, I still cite it to this day as like the actual most afraid of people I've ever been in my life. Like that was the moment where I was like, if any of these fucking crystal meth addled motherfuckers just decides all of a sudden and just like, you know what? We don't need to let these guys go. Like there would be no recourse.
Yeah.
Like we would just be dead and no one would have ever found us out there, you know?
I feel like there's definitely a connection to shout out to Tampa Red Lobster again. My man Wayne that used to work in the kitchen.
Yeah.
This dude, he used to have some buds back in the day. And I feel like anytime we would go over there, it would be like just a Central Florida reunion. You know what I mean? Like the people that you would encounter, I feel like they know where this clearing in the woods that you speak is of. Yeah. Like this dude told me that he was chasing being like a professional pool player.
Yeah.
So he would travel all around the country, mainly like on the West Coast, but he also cooked meth. So he was like a traveling meth salesman trying to make it on the professional pool circuit. And I was like,
that's a wild story.
Yeah, like Central Florida.
Yeah, I mean that's Central Florida for you.
Central Florida, man.
Yeah. All right. Is that we didn't get much done in hospitality terms, but you know, we circled back a couple times.
You know what? I'll end it on this since it seems like you're running out of time looking at your phone. If you're a fucking piece of shit that thinks that you're helping out the situation by balling up all your wet, shitty napkins and shit that's on the table and stuffing it into the fucking glassware, fuck you. You're not helping me out at all. You're adding more steps to my life, and you're making me touch your nasty fucking snot fucking wingy in tissues.
Yeah.
Just leave it on the fucking table.
Yeah.
All right? Leave it to the fucking professionals. If you want to stack your plates up, fine. Stop stuffing stuff in the cups. I'm fucking sick of it.
Yeah. In that regard, too, actually, the one thing I'll say is the person who takes napkins or, like, straw wrappers and just rips them up into small little fucking bits and then, like, throws them everywhere, it's like, fuck you.
Fuck you and your fucking Costa fucking disassembly. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What else? What else? I got another thing. I got another rant.
What?
Stop fucking ordering Manhattans and Old Fashions and just fucking standing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you enjoy this cocktail, tell me how the fuck you want me to make it.
Yeah.
There's a various amount of other follow-up questions that you have continuously been asked. When you go to the deli and you get ham, do you make sure that you tell them that you want it thinly sliced?
Yeah.
You do, right? You tell that fucking non-college degree having piece of shit that you want it how you want it, right? If you come up here and say, I'll have a Manhattan. Well, do you want it up? Do you want it on the rocks? What do you want for a garnish?
Yeah.
What kind of bitters do you like? Do you like vermouth in it? Do you like it do you like the glass kissed with it? Do you like it in and out? What the fuck do you want? Like, stop just telling me that you want this generic fucking thing.
Well,
you know there's follow-up questions, and fucking tell me about them before I have to ask you about them.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
So what I do is I just make it then the way I like it, and if they don't fucking like it, then I don't give a shit.
Yeah. We'll follow up on this. If you're having a drink at a fucking mixology bar, it's like beer pong. The only rules that matter are the house rules.
Yeah.
So take my fucking old fashioned and fucking have it.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, just know, hey, do you like it? No? Okay, well, that's how I make it here. So then go somewhere else, you know?
That just made me stutter a little bit, and I got embarrassed, and it made me think about the last time I had to throw these people out of the bar, and this girl was, like, mouthing off to me, and I just got tongue-tied for a minute. I said, you know what? Why don't you eat a shit? I just totally messed up the,
Yeah.
Instead of eat a dick, I told her to eat a shit.
I mean, both apply, though.
Yeah.
You know? Eat a shit, too. Eat shit.
Yeah.
Or eat a dick. Eat all the
Anyway.
dicks.
Fuck you and your old fashioned.
All right. Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Episode 3 in the books.
All right.
See you later.
Later, guys. I didn't mean to make it seem like I was checking my phone. I was just seeing what time it was.
Nah, dude.